I know what you're thinking right now. It's exactly the same thing when Chinese people see a white guy play ping pong. They're like, I don't think it's gonna work. Listen guys, if it doesn't work, I'll give you a free massage after the show. My name is Fang Zhou. My white name is Alex. Chinese people love having white names, right? When I talk to Chinese people in Chinatown, they're like, sorry, I don't speak English, but you can call me Paul. You know, in the future, when I have children, I'm gonna force them to have ethnic names. Okay, so I'm gonna name my son Muhammad. Somebody wondering, what about your daughter? I'm not gonna have a daughter, don't worry. You know, wherever I go in the country, and I'm always the diversity portion of the show, and I wish there was more diversity when I went to school in Waterloo, you know? Every kids in my program, math program, were Chinese, and all the teachers were Chinese. I was like, guys, we could have done this in China, you know? The other day I told my mom that I'm doing comedy in Canada. My mom was like, are you really a comedian or a stripper in Canada? I'm like, Mom, if I'm a stripper in Canada, my stripper name will be Ginger Beef. I travel all the time across the country. In fact, I just hitchhiked across the country. Has anyone here done hitchhiking before? You know, it's okay. I'm scared, you know. But I definitely realize that it is very important for hitchhikers to stand at the right spots, because otherwise people won't stop and pick you up. You know, it turned out if you're standing outside a mental hospital or any spot in Kingston, you know, for some reasons I feel like people did it, you know, pick me up for different reasons. Like somebody near Ottawa would pick me up because they want to use the multi-passenger lane. Some guys would pick me up because they want to date Asian woman. You know, most drivers are super nice, you know, they never ask me for anything, nothing, right? Even if they do, I totally understand because nothing is free. But the thing is, whenever they ask me something, it's always inappropriate request, right? They always want to ask me to do a blowjob for them, right? I've never seen drivers who ask me for the regular request, like, you know, since you're Chinese, can you do my taxes, you know? Even like, you know, my back hurts a little bit, can you give me an Asian massage? I'll do it, you know? Anyways, I've been traveling like this for a long time actually, and I fly internationally. You know, my first experience landing in Canada was a little bit surprised, right? Because I was at the Pearson Airport first time, and I saw some condom machines in Pearson Airport. I thought, oh, people in Toronto must be so horny. And later on, when I flew out of Canada, I also saw condom machines at the international departures. I thought, oh wow, Pearson Airport must be so considerate, you know? They just worry people may not get the condom of their size when they go to Africa, you know? I fly between two countries, China and Canada, all the time. By the way, anyone try any airlines in Asia here before? You did? Oh, okay, never mind. I noticed a lot of difference, especially the air attendants. The air attendants in Asia back home, they're very skinny. Don't get me wrong, people, we have overweight people in China. We just don't put them on the plane. That's definitely not the case in Air Canada, for sure. That's why Air Canada has to be very strict with your luggage policy, you know? You know, whenever I fly, I hate wearing a seatbelt. I never wear it actually. Because what's the point? If nothing happens, I don't need it. If something happens, it won't save me. In fact, if I don't wear my seatbelt when the plane crashes, I can probably die in the first class. I've been to a lot of airports in the country, and I feel like no matter how shitty the airport is, it's always called an international airport. Right? So I was at Thunder Bay International Airport. Guess what? The only international part of Thunder Bay Airport is there's one Filipino guy working at the airport. I go to a lot of small town shows, and I feel like the small town Chinese restaurants are very, very interesting. You know, I was at this one in Fort Francis near the border, and I couldn't recognize 90% items on their menu. I asked the owner, "What's the most popular choice at your restaurant?" She went, "Cheeseburger." Small town people are very, very interesting. You know, I was doing this small town show the other day, and I was the first comedian on stage actually. And after I finished my set, the owner was like, "Hey man, the comedian after you couldn't make to our show. They were so late." So what I did was I simply put on a different jacket. Return to stage and perform again. Nobody recognized I was the same Chinese comedian. After that, it was like, both Chinese guys were great. I recently performed comedy in Vancouver, and I'm not sure about you, but I feel like white people in Vancouver are way more Chinese than Chinese people. How would I know that? Because all of them have Chinese tattoos. Chinese people don't even have Chinese tattoos, right? I was walking on the street the other day, I saw this very, very beautiful white girl. You know, I was gonna sweet talk to her. But I stopped when I saw her Chinese tattoo because hers says diabetes. The other day, my friend in Vancouver got a Chinese character. She was so excited. But I was like, "Are you sure you want to have this one particularly?" She was like, "Of course. That's the Chinese character of the word hope." I was like, "That's only the half of the hope, okay?" When I first come to the country, I noticed a lot of difference. One thing I noticed was I saw a lot of married couples have exactly the same last names. I was like, "Oh, Canada even allows siblings to marry each other?" Maybe that's why some kids here are not very good at math. Before I went on tour doing comedy, I actually lived beside this Asian massage place for a few months in Toronto. And they didn't put anything on their door, so my door usually got knocked by randomly horny dudes. When I opened the door for them, they looked pretty confused. You know? They're like, "Is this Chinese guy even gonna give me a happy ending?" The answer is yes, I'll do taxes after. Part of job for me is going to different cities, walk on the streets, see people, what do they do, right? Whenever I go to big cities in Canada, and especially Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, I always see a white Asian couple on the street, and it's always white guy and Asian girl, never the other way around, right? So at that moment, I was like, maybe that's why, you know, Chinese people or Asian people decided to steal all the jobs from white people. For every single girl you steal from us, we're gonna steal 100 jobs from you. If that doesn't help, we'll buy all the houses in Canada. I was really some news in Toronto the other day, and I read some Asian carpfish has been found in the Lake Ontario. People in Toronto are so scared. They're like, oh, all those Asian fish will eat other fish or take over the lake. I was like, I guess Asian fish also steal jobs from the local fish. I do a lot of weird shows as a comedian. The other day I was doing a heckling show, guys. Everybody in the crowd was heckling me. If they had nothing to say about me, all of them were like, show your dick, show your dick. And I usually saw a lot of black comedians go to that room, you know? I remember when I first learned English, and I was really struggling, you know? I was trying to learn English by listening to radio, but people on radio talk real fast. I remember one time I was listening to radio and I heard the police are looking for a short Caucasian criminal. I was very, very confused. I was like, oh, were the police looking for a short cock Asian? How did the police even know? I gotta stay in my apartment for a week. One time I told that joke, actually in Toronto, and there was an Asian guy in the crowd. Stood up, heckled the shit out of me. Yeah, he was like, what you're saying is not necessarily correct. I went, show your dick, show your dick. You guys have been off, and thank you very much.